Hello and welcome to the RF Workshop channel. Today I hope to be working on the fuel tank and the radiator shrouds for the TS200R, the very crusty radiator shrouds, and the many times painted fuel tank. What I hope to be achieving in this segment is a bit of a buff up of the plastics, make them look a bit newer, maybe put some shine back into them, and perhaps fix the plastic mount points here. And I hope to be painting this fuel tank a nice crisp white. The reason I'm going for white is so I don't have to match the one of the many Suzuki yellow paint colours. I don't have to worry about the bike looking like a slightly different yellow patchwork quilt. I'm also choosing white because factory I believe these bikes also came with a white tank, and I don't think white looks too bad on it. I think I'll begin by pressure washing this all the dirt off of this tank. The paint stripper, if I end up going that route, will bite in better without all that grease and oil. Hey, it still has a filter. Right, so the paint stripper doesn't seem to be wanting to strip the last little bits, so what I'm going to do now is just use an angle grinder with a wire brush attachment, get everything I can reach with this, and then hopefully there'll be enough power with the sandblaster just to get behind these little brackets and things. Alright, so I've got it ready for spray painting, first coat being just standard primer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a wipe down with thinners first though, just to get off any residual paints that have been smeared with the wire brush, or any red paint that's been scratched onto it with the tray and the sandblaster. Normally I would wipe things down with thinners and then wax and grease remover, because they both do, well, thinners removes paints and things better, and wax and grease remover is good at removing wax and grease, but I don't have any wax and grease remover, so I'm going to have to just be a bit more careful and scrub a bit harder with the thinners. I also don't have any lintless cloths or anything like that, so I just got to work with what I've got. It's quite a lot of dirt coming off of this. Alright, this is either going to be a mistake or a money and time saving decision. Well, this is the end result. I did another coat off camera, just so I could be a bit more meticulous. It has not an orange peely, but an almost rough industrial looking surface. I quite like it. All I care about is that it's even all the way around, which it is. The only place that there was a bit of a muck up was down here. There's a bit of a run down here, but I'm not too worried. There's a few dents in it that I didn't bother pulling out. I have the stuff to do it, but I figured I'm only going to be dropping this again, and you'll never make it perfect again without bogging. I don't like bogging motorcycle fuel tanks. But as a whole, I think it's turned out really good. I'm very happy with the finish. Nice and even. Even on the underneath. Oh, there we are. Even on the underneath, which is more than what it was from factory. But all it's left to do now is get the shrouds ready. I may have to bend these tabs a little bit because the shrouds probably won't be perfectly lined up to the tank contour, but shouldn't be hard to fix. You don't see these anyway, even if I do mark them in the process. But I think that is a satisfactory result. Right, so onto the radiator shrouds now. I'm going to start with the good one just to see how it turns out before I begin on the next one, because I could potentially buy replacement shrouds, but I just want to give these ones a chance first. I'm going to just start with a standard orbital sander, see if I can get the just the top layer of plastic off, see how deep the gouges go in. So I guess this is going to be like an evaluation of what I've got. Right, so this is after 20 minutes to half an hour of the orbital sander. I ended up just using a dry new pad. I find worked the best. It's taken out all of the scratches and that strange puttied hole that was somewhere around that area. It seems that if you weren't careful you could actually burn the plastic. It made like a strange brown crust. It also, by the end, I think there's some dirt build up in the pad because it started putting in this brown effect into the, I guess, the pores of the plastic. Should come out with cleaner. So what I'm going to try now is just to get some wet and dry, and just go over it by hand in all the bits that the orbital can't get to, and just to clean up the surface finish a bit. But the orbital has done a good job on getting rid of the scratches and gouges. However, it has left some half moons in some places, but I think that's a pretty good trade-off of having scratches and gouges and just a couple of half moons. For the last step of this process, I'm going to use a heat gun just to melt the surface of the plastic. This makes a nice smoother finish, gets rid of the hazy white cloud effect. It seals the surface of the plastic better to stop dirt from getting in. Right, unfortunately the heat is making this shroud darker. I think this is an imperative step to this process. If you don't seal the plastic in like this, it always remains hazy and funny. It never looks what I would want it to be. So I'm going to keep going, and if the shroud gets much worse, I'm just going to pack it up and consider my options. Alright, so it doesn't seem to be too much trouble to bend the shroud back into its original shape. A bit like just forming a bit of sheet metal for a car panel. So I'm going to continue working on the other one, but the next day, because the evening air is coming and it's getting hard to be outside. Right, so on to the second panel. This is the surface before a buff. As you can see, it's all scratched, gouged. Green looking. And same panel. After a fair bit of buffing, cleaning, paint removal, I also plastic welded some little cracks and things. All the scratches are now gone. There's still a bit of discoloration and very light scratches in places I had trouble getting to, but it's a far cry from what it was before. That big gouge is now reduced to 2 little dints, and the broken clips, this one's back together now. Obviously dirty and horrible looking on the other side still, but I'm not really concerned. Took a lot of time, but I think that's a vast improvement too. It's gone from unusable to alright. Here's the petcock back out of the ultrasonic cleaner. It's done a nice job making it nice and shiny again. The gasket's back to like new condition. Okay, so here's where we are now. I've just put the shrouds on temporarily with some nickel plated cap heads. I'll probably be buying the correct screws from Suzuki. I think we've had some success. My goal here was to make the bike look a little bit more respectable. I'm really loving the white paint on the tank. I think that was a good decision. I actually think it is better than the yellow. I can't put it on the bike just yet because I need the rubber bushings that go on the frame to hold the front of the tank, and I don't want the tank to be contacting anything and getting scratched up, and I don't want to be repeatedly installing and uninstalling anything because I'd like to keep it as fresh looking as possible. But I think that'll do it for this video. It's been quite long, this one. Next time I hope to be working on the radiators, and I'll have them installed on the frame hopefully. Well, I think my objective of making a respectable looking tank and shrouds is a success. So thank you very much for watching and coming along for the ride, and catch you next time. To stop it from absorbing dirt, I think it also